Best coaches in the game, we really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block, helmets, casket is got. You be seeing helmet after helmet, helmet after helmet. First place, second place, fifth place, eighth place, 12th place, 15, 16, 20. So many helmets, you got blurred vision, we got too many. Get your check. Oh man, shit. They got us fucked up. Army, regroup. We pledge always to have that edge. We don't fire warning shots. Competition just drop. We locked and loaded before lock. Whatever the time, yeah. Do you even correlate?
Being the best requires a willingness to outwork your competition. There's always someone smarter, faster, sharper, more naturally gifted to come around.
Good morning, DFS Army. This is Burns273. I'm here along with Tattoo. I got Raz, and, well, Josiah is actually out for today. He's hitting up the DC monuments and all that happy horse shit. So we're here with Fling taking the stead for Josiah today, and I'll be hosting today's show. Huge apologies for that long-ass intro song, but yeah. Here we are. We had a couple of technical difficulties. We won't be able to have the domination station scrolling here. But if you have your domination station up at home, which I'm sure each and every one of you do, by all means, follow along with that. How's everybody doing this morning? Good?
Great.
Good,
Ready
good.
to make some money.
Great. I got my whipped cream on my coffee. We're absolutely golden.
Yeah, buddy. All right, here we go. First question up.
That's right. NHL.
Josiah. Well, that's all right. What's up with Ted McMillan? Is he playable? I'll kick this over to you, Raz. What do you think?
Ted is one of my highest owned wide receivers. I absolutely love it. I mean, I like the game quite a bit, so he's going to be my bring back in almost all of my Penix exposure.
Yeah, I
Is
think
it
he's
the
a really good
quarterback
player.
or something out too for Atlanta?
Yeah, AJ Terrell is out.
AJ Terrell.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest worry obviously is the sudden surge of Atlanta's pass rush, but still, like, defensive back, pretty big weakness, at least at cornerback, maybe not at safety wise, but so me, it's Tet and, a little bit of Renfro, but this was a Tet question.
Yeah, 100%. Anybody got anything different? Fling, you on Tet this week?
I haven't been on Ted a whole lot, but I do like him. So I've been trying to force him into some of my last DS runs.
Okay.
There you go, Dixon.
Hawkinson, 150-yard game. Can't wait. We'll see about that one. Anyone else think Dak +2 and a bring back is the nuts? I think there's a significant amount of ownership on this game. I think this game's going to go. It could go very poorly for all that ownership, or it could go very well for all that ownership. I think there's going to be a significant amount of ownership on Caleb this week. I think we're looking at 15 to 20% when it's all said and done. I think you could even see him higher than that in single entries, depending on the single entry contest that you're entering. But on the flip side, I think Dak is actually going to garner less ownership than Caleb in this one. Additionally, I think you're going to see a lot of ownership on Ndunze. I think you're also going to see a lot of ownership on CeeDee Lamb, and I think the benefactors to those, though they have significant paths to failure in this game, are DJ Moore and I also think Pickens as well. But Ferguson is also someone that can pop off. And then the running games as well. DeAndre Swift is actually going to be playing in this game. So that could actually have some interesting dynamics in play there for that. So what are you guys' thoughts on this, Tattoo?
I'm actually not playing much Caleb at all. I used him in one single entry just so I don't get completely bit in the ass. But in my 150, I'm only playing field weight. I'm not playing Swift. I do have a lot of Adunze. Adunze. And
Yeah. So far right now, I think I have one Caleb Williams lineup. Of course, I haven't finalized my MME runs. So
I think we all know how we feel about Caleb and our group. So.
Yeah. How about you playing? How's things looking on this game for you? Are you going to be overloaded on this one?
I am. I'm all over this game. I think sure there's there's chalk pieces like Caleb and Adunze, but there's a lot of guys that are like under radar, like Pickens 3%, DJ Moore 9%. The backs aren't highly owned, obviously, because everyone's on the chalk backs this week, like Mason and Walker. So, yeah, I'm trying to build pieces in this game, and I definitely like Dak doubles with bringbacks in this. So I agree. I think it's likely that this is one of the games that you need, whether that's a Dak stack or a Caleb stack. I think that's obviously going to depend on them. And then, the value quarterbacks that we're getting this week that could easily be in the nuts.
When you say Dak in 2, could Javonte Williams be one of those?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get unique with it, for sure.
Would you say, Raz, he had 7 catches last week or something?
Yeah, he was randomly used so much in the pass game last week after basically not at all week 1. So, I don't know which week is the one we should be trusting more.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's unique for sure. Dak plus Javonte as one of them. So there's a lot of different ways you can go with it.
Yeah, for sure. Any different thoughts, Raz?
I mean, I want to say that it's not the nuts just because everybody thinks it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to play my fair share of Dak and even Caleb, but I'm wondering if in large field, everybody's just automatically going Dak +2. Do I get different and just do Dak skinny,
mm-hmm.
and then maybe not even a Chicago bringback if we think that Caleb just shits the bed, right? Because I don't really want to bring it back with DeAndre. And on the other side, Dak could shit the bed. We've seen it before. So why not Caleb just +1? Everybody's trying to onslaught it or just overstack that game. What if being different is only just going back to 3 years ago DFS, where we're just a quarterback plus a wide receiver and that's it, or tight end and that's it?
I don't know how huge of a difference it'll make, but Dallas signed Jadeveon Clowney, which does give us some pass rush now.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little dusty.
I mean, I think in my head, I just have it, he's just a stronger run defender than pass rusher at this point. But
they said he wanted to play edge when we got Kenny Clark.
Yeah. I mean,
well,
yeah, they need to figure out something because their defensive backs aren't covering anybody. So
yeah. I mean, if you get a pass rush, you don't have to cover him as long.
Right.
But to pivot off of this one, what is your favorite game outside of this game? If we had to pick a single game outside of this game, I'll go around. Start with Fling. What's your favorite game outside of this Dallas-Chicago game?
Favorite, I would go with Atlanta going against Carolina just because of the poor defense that the Panthers have, especially against the run. I think that just opens up everything for the Atlanta offense.
Yeah. How about you, Raz?
The numbers say it should be one game, but I don't understand why that game. So the Denver game, I don't know why that's got such a strong total on two defenses or two teams that we thought defenses were going to be their calling card for sure. For me, it's going to be Washington, Las Vegas. Gino just loves to throw it around. He'll make mistakes, but he just loves throwing the football. And Mariota, super efficient last year in 2 starts. So, I don't think Washington's offense misses a beat without Jaden. I'm not saying Mariota is Jaden, but I think that offense just stays smooth. And obviously, Vegas traveling to East Coast, etc., Like there's that. So I just think that game has a chance to end up in the 50s. So I'm kind of pretty heavy on that one.
It's curious that you brought up that game because I actually read something on Gino where he was in the same situation, I believe. And it may have been against Washington, where he put up 344 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, broke open the slate with like a 34 DraftKings points performance. I mean, it may have been like 2, maybe 3 years ago, or potentially even last year. So, yeah, it was an interesting thing that I read about that. But I like that take. I think that's a great take. I also think that the Seattle New Orleans game is popping for significant players within this domination station. It's popping obviously for who is going to be significant chalk in this game or on this slate is Kenny Walker. But it's also popping for guys like Chris Olave, as well as the tight end Juwan Johnson. But a guy that may actually be someone that goes a little bit under-owned for what he could actually do in this game is Alvin Kamara. And I think Alvin Kamara could actually have a day today where he doesn't, outproduce, the Bijans and the CMCs, but he does have a favorable game. I don't like to roster guys that are home underdogs, but I don't mind doing it when they're on the road. And so I think he could actually have a good game this week, and it's starting to pop. And I've heard some really intelligent DFS analysts in the industry talking about this game. So, all right, let's see other questions here. What's your thoughts on Rodgers to Metcalf, please? I think this smashes today. Who wants to take this first? Fling, I'll go to you.
I'm not on it today. Not personally. I like the other side of that game. Actually, I like May a little bit today, but not on Rodgers to Metcalf today.
How about you, Tattoo? You seem to love Drake May.
Well, yeah, I'm all over Drake May. I could, excuse me, I could see this game popping off with Rodgers going off, but I'm not anticipating. I'm way more on New England defense and New England's offense. The previous question, my answer was Arizona, San Francisco for a pop-off game.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Raz, you got any interest in this game whatsoever?
Very little outside of New England's defense.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'll use May a little bit, but I'm not chasing Aaron Rodgers week 1. Like after that week, I made a prediction on X or Twitter, like Rodgers wouldn't throw for 4 touchdowns over the next 3 weeks after that, combined. So I'm just not like, I think DK can have games, and he's had success against Christian Gonzalez previously. Like I looked that up and saw that, but for now, like I can't trust an Aaron Rodgers led offense.
Yeah.
If I'm using anyone from Pittsburgh, Jonnu, and I do have a little bit of Jalen Warren just because, there's speak in the media about how they want to use him more and more, or a little bit more, and plus Caleb Johnson falling out of favor. So, but yeah, it's not really a game that stands out to me anyways.
Right. Okay. Next question. If JSN is out, we going Cup or Horton for value. He is actually going to play in this one. So, but if you need to go, if you don't want to eat that chalk with JSN, I would probably go Cup. But I actually just think JSN is the play for in the wide receiving core for this one. Let's see. Do I double the field on Swift? I would do that at your own peril. I don't know if Swift is going to be awesome today, but I think he could actually have a path to pushing, upper teens in this one. I don't think he pushes above 20, but I've been wrong before on this guy. I don't know. Anybody got any differing thoughts on this? Like, what are your? I just don't know if I can trust Swift today. I don't know.
The one thing I would say is he's only projected for like 7% ownership. So if you double the field on him, like you're not overexposing yourself, in my opinion. So I think that's a good play.
Yeah. Anybody got anything different?
Yeah, I think I would only use him as a pivot off of like Mason chalk on DK, where he's even slightly cheaper. But I'm just really trying to match the field just in case I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really want to use him at all, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. I think a Bryce Tet London combo ends in the nuts today. We've seen some weirdness in DFS before, and Bryce Young has been part of that weirdness. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's actually a thing today.
Yeah.
Mason Chalk Bomb, pin it. I'm thinking that he's talking about Mason. Are we
failing?
I'm thinking Mason might be the tight end from the Jets potentially.
No, it should be Jordan Mason. I would think.
Jordan Mason. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he's the chalk running back for sure.
Yeah, I forgot about Jordan Mason. I tried to put him out of my mind for a little bit. Oh, we just got news. Juwan Jennings is out for today's game. He got news early. Juwan Jennings is out. Okay. So there's that thing. But yeah, you could see a chalk bomb with this one.
It's tougher for me to see a chalk bomb. Like, I understand it, and he's more likely to bomb than Walker. But I was saying it like I was quoting some numbers in Discord for guys that were talking about both these running backs, and like last year there were 4 games when Mason saw 20 plus touches, right? So 4 games as a bell cow back. He averaged 23.4 DK points per game in those 4 games. Wasn't used a ton in the pass game in those, but the Vikings have said that they trust him in the passing game. The Vikings offensive line grades out as top 7 in run block win rate. So like the best thing for that offense is him running the football and not Carson Wentz throwing it. So, I mean, it's certainly possible. Like, we see it quite a bit, but like there's a lot of things pointing towards Mason paying off. And it's not just, he's not the random week RB2 where the guy went down last week and all of a sudden he's thrust into this big role. Like, he's not that same kind of chalk that we've seen in the past. So, based on the numbers that we see, like, I feel pretty strongly about him. Plus his touchdown equity is so strong now with all the backfield touches.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're making compelling argument against Kenneth Walker for sure. I mean, there are paths for Kenneth Walker to fail too. So I know that he's been in this kind of spot before where he's been the bell cow and he's produced, but that's been like almost 2 years now. So, but yeah, he's got past the failure, just like everybody else on this slate. Fling Tattoo, you got any differing opinions on that with Jordan Mason?
Yeah.
No, I like what Madness said. I would, like, if you're worried about Mason failing, I would just be playing Jefferson. Like, I would make sure you're over the field on Justin Jefferson, because I think that's probably the environment where Mason fails is, Wentz comes in, runs the Kevin O'Connell offense well, and it's a big day for Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm. 3 RB week, sure, starting to look like that with the valuation that we have for at running back with Walker and Mason in this one. Let's see. It's very easy to put Marions in and roll with. I'm sure he thinks it's Mariota in and roll with 3 of Bijan, CMC, Bucky, and Taylor. Yeah, probably is. Makes the wide receivers in your lineup really I don't know. It depends on how you want to build that, but you're looking at a very low salaried tight end and you're starting to look at sub 5, sub 6s for sure, wide receivers. Rattler Shaheed time. I don't know. Raz, you're the Shaheed dude. You're the Shaheed whisperer. I don't know if this is Shaheed time or not, but his target share is starting to uptick.
Yeah, I don't like the biggest thing for me is Shaheed in the past wasn't the target share thing. It was the obvious explosive plays. His ADOT is so far down. Like, he's running a completely different route tree than in the past. It takes kind of the upside away from him. Like, he's not going to be a guy that catches 8-9 balls for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, we needed it when he was a guy that was going to catch 3 balls for 130 and 2 touchdowns. Because he caught 2 50-yard touchdowns. So I have a hard time getting to Shaheed. Like, he's the 4th guy of the Saints that I'm going to use. And I've been off of Kamara now for, over a year, but like, I have Kamara ahead of him for sure. And then Juwan and even Olave. Plus, I don't think that highly of Rattler yet. I am using him just because they have so many plays and they're definitely throwing the ball more, but I just don't expect it to stay going, I guess, in this direction, to where 3 guys in the passing game can all see 8+ targets from Rattler.
Yeah, it's tough. It's very slim. It's a very slim play for sure. I don't know. I think it's a slim play, but I've been wrong before.
Especially on the road against a Mike McDonald offense. That's our defense, rather. That's a tough ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, being able to play at home the first 2 weeks probably helps out. It inflates their numbers. So, yeah, it's tough. A lot of people in the industry have talked about, playing Juwan and Kamara, Juwan and Olave together, in non-Rattler lineups, even because of their price points and their target shares and everything. Makes me want to fade them, really, because I just don't think that highly of the offense overall, at least long term.
Yeah. All right, this one's for you, Fling. Puka or CD and for cash?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. I went with Puka, but I don't really think there's a wrong answer there. So it's just how the lineup looks, I guess, with one versus the other. I will say if you're playing Mariota, it's pick your poison. You could play either of them. So, and then it just becomes a 2 versus 2, with your tight end, essentially. So.
Okay. Let's see. Caleb or Dak on FanDuel. You guys are the FanDuel guys. Raz, you're a FanDuel guy. I'm not, so I don't know the salaries this week for them on FanDuel.
I think it's Caleb. I mean, Caleb's only $200 cheaper over there. The reason I think I lean Caleb is the fact that there's no 300 yardage bonus. So Dak getting to 300 yards doesn't give him that big of a boost over Caleb and his, 225 yards. So I think the rushing ability of Caleb probably makes up that difference and then some. So I'll just take the 200 savings and take Caleb over there.
Okay. Walker over Mason. Absolutely. I would say Dak. All right, let's get into questions more here. All right, here's another one. Is Baker a fade now? I'm not fading Baker. I'm not at all. I think he's perfectly acceptable play, and I don't mind him in this game whatsoever. What are your guys' thoughts on this game? The other side is, a lot of people are thinking Tyrod as well. So what are your guys' thoughts on this game?
I like Baker. I have him with a lot of Evans.
So Go ahead, finish your thought. Tattoo.
I lost my thought. But not much interested in the Jet side.
Yeah. So I'll go the opposite of you guys on Baker. I actually did not play him this week. Reason is they have 3 offensive linemen out. Like, they're incredibly banged up along the offensive line, and just with the other game environments, I just felt like that was a fade spot for me. Could burn me. I know they have a good implied team total and they're home favorites, but I just think it's hard to do a lot when you're banged up along the offensive line.
It makes it tougher.
I am fading Baker. Offensive line issues. I am on the Jet side of things for DFS purposes. I don't mind Tyrod, but like Garrett Wilson, just a massive target share.
Yeah.
When Tyrod came in last week, 4 of his 11 attempts went to Garrett Wilson. 3 of those 11 also went to tight ends. And he has a history of throwing to tight ends, so that puts Mason Taylor into play for me as well.
Okay. Let's see here. JSN flew a real thing. Honestly, I think he's a go. I don't see anything that's preventing him, especially because there's been news that came out where they said that he's a go. So, I think he's a full go, but, if you have reservations, you can always lower your ownership to him for sure. Let's see. I feel like K. might be a good play this week if Emeka is out, especially. I think Emeka's in play. He's actually been ruled a go to this week, but I don't mind K. in this one. Let's see. Is JSN playing? Yes, I believe he is.
We're going to get a lot of JSN questions.
Why would Baker be a fade now? We kind of touched on it a little bit. So if you think that the 3 offensive linemen being out prevents him from actually having a favorable pocket to throw the ball down the field or get the ball out, this could actually be where K. becomes more of a viable play, as well as Bucky Irvin out of the backfield with short passing situations. Is that they have 3 offensive linemen out. It's going to actually force the backups to, having 1 offensive lineman out is a lot, but when you have 3, it's significant. So backups in the NFL, they're NFL players for a reason, but they're a downgrade from the starting guys. So it could actually prevent Baker from having a good week. But he is really low owned, and you don't have to get significantly high owned over leverage on him. So I would say, if you were at the 5% mark, you're about double the field there. And that's about really all you would want to be at if you feel apprehensive of the 3 offensive linemen being out. Let's see here. Emeka's limited now. Probably.
Yeah, we've seen differentiating reports. One was overnight saying that he wasn't going to be limited, and then now this morning there was one saying that he would be limited to a degree.
Okay.
So, it's just a whole lot of stuff that makes it easier for me to fade Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Now I'm a little less excited.
Yeah. When news comes out, it changes things on a dime. And when you start, like us, when we're doing cheat sheets and stuff, and we're looking at this throughout the course of the week, and then on a Sunday, you start to get news that makes things change, or changes things on a dime for you. You just have to make your own adjustments. So when you get questions like, well, that quarterback was on your sheet, why didn't you use him? Well, here's the reason. The reason is that because news or feelings of the slate can change on a dime, like with injuries, or it can change like about anything. Like news from a coach could change your feelings on a game. So you have to make your own choices and decisions in your player pools. My decisions are completely separate from all three of the other individuals on this show. So, it's just what it is. But yeah, let's see. Even sneakier, Millie play Tyrod and Wilson with a Bucky and not and bring back. Yeah, I mean, if you think that that's going to be the side that blows up and you want to have some run backs with it, by all means, there are slimmer plays in the Millie Maker that take off. And so, this could actually be one that, and I touched on it, if there's offensive linemen that are out, it actually makes short passing situations that much more viable. So, especially if the quarterback has to get the ball out much more quickly. Let's see here. I'll address this one. Yeah, Bob's out today, Jason. He is he's in Washington, D.C. Sorry about that, man. Let's see. Fade Mason, play Vikings D. Or playing both in the same lineup. Like the Vikings D today. I have strong thought that Vikings at home could actually be a viable defense. You guys have any thoughts on the Vikings defense today?
I mean, I figure Browning's got to be good for 2 or 3 picks. So,
yeah, I mean, Browning is like the gunslinger type quarterback. I'm on Vikings now that we know that Van Ginkel and Harrison Smith are back, strengthening that defense a bit more. So, yeah, I mean, I have no problem with the Vikings D. I just like that. That's a correlation play where I wouldn't be fading Mason, I guess, if I'm playing a bunch of the Vikings D, because Vikings D dominating means even more touches for Mason, since he's basically the only guy that's going to get touches. I mean, Akers will, but that's just to spell him, every few series.
For sure. Tattoo NHL will be here soon.
Preseason started yesterday.
What are we, T-minus like 1 month?
October 7th.
Awesome. Less than a month. Perfect. I can't wait to be taking down Sakima again this year.
Yes. Fling might play 2 slates this year.
I'll play more than that this year. For sure.
All right. Dixon Sider, known member of the chat group in Tournament Tactics on Friday nights. Good morning. Please help me start 2 of the guys, Abuka, Pickens, Keenan Allen, J-Mo Williams. I'm thinking he's thinking this is for season long.
Tough.
Anyone want to take that stab at that one for good old Dixon Sider?
I mean, Pickens for sure at this point, and man, it's probably Keenan Allen. Like, if we believe the Abuka is limited,
yeah.
Talk like if Abuka is fully good to go, I think it's just Abuka and Pickens. Like, okay. I'm not a huge believer in the sudden like Keenan Allen is really good thing, but based on what information we have, I think it's Pickens and Keenan. Okay. As long as it's PPR.
Let's see. I'm trying to get to the actual questions here. BTJ, JSN with the flu, or AJ Brown flex spot in a Jones lineup with DK GPP. How about you, Tattoo? What are your thoughts here?
JSN flex spot Jones lineup. JSN.
Raz, you have someone different than JSN on this one?
Unfortunately not. I don't even think I'm playing any AJ Brown at this point.
Yeah, I will have AJ Brown simply because I'm playing Jalen Hurts today. So I will have some AJ Brown shares. I think AJ Brown is a sneaky upside play. I think he's someone that is actually not being talked across the industry. His performances in the past 2 weeks, let alone the past almost, he's been really down from a stability standpoint in DFS for a good amount of times now. And that's why his salary is so depressed. But I can see him pop off very quickly. And but it's a tough defense that he's facing. So there's that as well. But I do have shares in him because I will be playing Jalen Hurts. I do have shares in Devonta because I'm playing Jalen Hurts. So that's kind of how I'm going about it, is that they're probably going to be tied to Jalen Hurts. Right. John Marchese, loving the Jacksonville D on FanDuel. Yeah, I think they're an under the radar play. I think they're a sneaky play. A lot of people are on the Houston side for the defense. I've researched it a lot. Home defenses that are favored are actually very viable. But Jacksonville they're not the best defense on the slate from a overall defensive scheme perspective, as well as just being a good defense. So they're lower down on the listing for me. The Vikings they're one of my top defenses this week. I think the Chargers are going to be even more sneaky this week at home. I've heard some rumblings from some really top DFS players in the industry, like Squirrel Patrol, that are loving that Chargers Denver game. So that's kind of here nor there, but they're pretty sharp, and that game total has actually gone up. It's one of the only 2 or 3 games on the entire slate that have not seen a decline in the overall game total. It's actually increasing, and it went up 2 points since its opening. So there's that. Any interest with Troutman with Ingram out? I'll turn this over to you, Fling, since you're a Broncos fan.
Yeah, I think $2,700 tight end. Sure, he definitely probably going to catch some balls. He could catch a touchdown. So I wouldn't have a lot of him, just because I think this slate sets up so well to not have to pay down at tight end. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I think maybe a little bit of exposure and 150. Sure, why not?
So with that in mind, who is your guys' favorite tight end on the slate, Raz?
Kyle Pitts.
Tattoo?
I think we know. Tyler Warren.
Okay. Fling, who are you going with this week as your guy that you're looking at putting a lot into lineups?
Yeah, for sure. I think Ferguson, for me, just in such a good game environment at 4K. And I don't know, 10% ownership is really not a lot. So,
yeah. This is kind of how I'm playing it. If you look at Trey McBride, he's at about recent projections. Let me look at it, but got to refresh here for a second so I can get the most accurate projections as they've been refreshed. Trey McBride is at 20%, just 0.13 below 20%. But there is a tight end that's $300 more. That is half his ownership, and I think he's actually in a better spot today. I think this is how you beat the Washington Commanders defense. You beat them with the tight ends, and they are very vulnerable to tight ends. And Brock Bowers could have a field day in this one today. So this is kind of where I'm going with my ownership I'm using Trey McBride in cash, and if I can get to him in SEs, I'll do it that way. But I really like Brock Bowers today. I think he's been his play has kind of been suppressed. His fantasy point production. Let me pull him up here so I can get an accurate feel on his fantasy point production. So he's been at 18.3 in week 1 when he traveled to New England. And then he was 8.8 last week against the Chargers. I think we're looking at more like a 15 to 25 range for him today. But he is going to get his fair share in this one, and I just really like him a lot. Let's see. What do y'all think about the Cincinnati-Minnesota game being in the nuts? Raz, what are your thoughts on this one?
I don't think it ends up that way. Like, I mean, we did see a similar situation with Browning 2 years ago in a Cincinnati versus Minnesota game, where it was Browning versus Nick Mullins, and both guys threw for a ton of yards, a bunch of interceptions, etc. I just have a hard time believing in it. I don't think like Carson Wentz is the gunslinger that like Nick Mullins was, so it's just tough for me to believe that the whole game environment is just going to go off. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Tattoo Fling, you got a differing opinion on that?
No, I'm with you. It's a low game total, 2 backup quarterbacks. I don't think it's going to be the nuts game.
Are we like completely missing Cincinnati defense with Carson Wentz at quarterback? Not going crazy with him, but
No, I think they're in my pool.
Yeah, I like them for sure. I've been playing them.
I believe they're in my pool. No, they're the underdog, so no, I'm not playing them. I X'd them out because they're underdogs. Let's see. Question. Can we please get your one favorite QB candidate to potentially run in a touchdown today? Mine would be Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is your primary rushing quarterback today. That if anyone was to get a rushing touchdown as in the quarterback spot, it would be him. Raz, who would yours be?
Marcus Mariota.
Fling?
It's Jalen Hurts for sure. Tush push, cheat code.
Yep. Tattoo?
it's Jalen Hurts, but Drake May could run one in.
And then your guys' thoughts on Jalen Hurts as a single entry quarterback today?
He's my favorite. I think when we look back at the slate, it would probably be silly if we didn't just play Jalen Hurts on a slate that doesn't have Jaden Daniels, doesn't have Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. It's just too easy of a play, I think.
How about you, Raz? You got any interest here?
I am completely fading Jalen Hurts.
All right. Complete opposite of me. Let's go.
I mean, like, you have the league now focusing on to make sure they're not false starting and not lining up offsides on the tush push. The fact that he hasn't, like, the passing games just look atrocious so far. And you're telling me that the Rams are just going to allow them to run all over him again for the third straight time? Like, I just don't see that happening. So, like, if the Rams actually try to make Hurts beat him through the air, like, I'm not enamored enough with Hurts as a passer right now. So I'm going to fade him. Like, I get that he's cheaper than we'd ever expect him to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates some potential value in him. But I just, if he puts up 20, I'll be fine with it, like, not having him. So.
And then you, Tattoo, do you have any thoughts on this one? You playing them?
I'm only playing, some single entry multiplier cash games. So I'm actually not using him, but no reason not to.
Mm-hmm.
He could run in a couple touchdowns and throw for a couple. So
okay. All right. Mariota and Ertz, a good stack for GPPs. Yeah, I mean, Mariota, I think the way I would play Mariota in a single entry and Raz, I think you actually have some love here for Ertz today with Mariota. I would play him naked. He's 4K. So I'm not really going to force anything with Mariota if I don't have to. So, but let me kick it over to you, Raz. Is this the way you're going with most of your stacks with Mariota? Are you going just with Ertz, or are you going to mix and match here?
I'm gonna mix and match. I went into, I guess, yesterday or maybe Friday believing that I was just going to have Mariota naked in all of the, the 20% that I have Mariota. But looking at it last year, like Ertz caught a touchdown from him in both games at the end of last year. McLaurin in those two games caught 14 balls for 160 yards and a touchdown. So that, like, it tells me that Mariota is capable of bringing along, even two guys. I don't want to, like, it's got to run out perfectly for the two guys. But what it also showed me is the number 2 wide receiver in those two games combined for just 6 catches. Mm-hmm. And the running backs caught 5 balls. 4 of those were Eckler. So, like, Mariota highly concentrated. And I think all week we kind of talked about, like, we thinking that Ertz was just a Jaden Daniels thing. I think Ertz is just a Washington Commanders offense thing. So he's in play. I am going to play some Debo just because, like, there's a chance he gets those, like, Eckler catches with Mariota because, I mean, it could be McNichols too, but I think it's a spot actually where McLaurin might wake up a little bit too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you with Mariota, with Ertz and McLaurin on that side. I do have a question for you guys, and this is going a little bit off script, but I don't think there's enough talk on Jordan Love right now. I think his ownership is suppressed right now. I've been looking at him, and I'm trying to make. I'm not in love with the play by any stretch, but I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. He is going up against they're not good defense in Cleveland. I just don't think Cleveland can keep up with the Packers for it to be a good play. But I've been looking at it, and I'm like, and ultimately I'm not going to play him, but he is less than 1% owned. And we have seen Jordan Love in the winning Millie Maker lineups before. I know, Fling, you research the Millie Maker in a lot of the same ways as I do. How do you see Jordan Love playing today?
Yeah, no, it's sharp. I'm not really on it just because I think Cleveland does have a really good defense, and I don't know. I don't think they're going to have to do much offensively to win this because they have, Green Bay has such a good defense, and because their opponent can't do a whole lot offensively. So I don't know that, we have the ceiling that we need with Jordan Love, but anytime you got a good player with good weapons and is at 1% ownership, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, my thought is that Cleveland is very good against the run. So Josh Jacobs is not a.
Yeah, they're better than very good against the run. Like, the numbers I saw, like yards before first contact, like Cleveland's defense against running backs, negative 0.4 yards per rush before contact. Second best defense behind them is 0.6 positive yard. Like, it's a full yard difference. Like, they've just been absolutely dominant against the running game. And the Packers O-line is not a dominant running O-line for this matchup. So, like, I think there's a pass funnel ability for Love. Like, if we believe that Green Bay just smacks Cleveland, I think it's through the air, and it's Love with, 3 touchdowns and 275 yards.
And here's why I'm going there is Josh Jacobs doesn't catch passes out of the backfield. He is primarily used as a prototypical running back that just runs the ball. And I'm having thoughts of, well, if I'm running out, if I'm doing a single bullet in the Millie Maker, and everybody is gravitating towards certain games, but we know that you can run him naked, and you don't have to have him with any of his pass catchers. I mean, Jaden Reed's out. Tucker Kraft has been nearing out all week. So I don't mind just playing him naked in a lineup in the Millie Maker as a lottery ticket and saying, hey, why the hell not? Right. Because of the fact that Cleveland's defense is so run focused. Yeah, I don't know. It's one that I've been debating all week. The metrics are there for me. I don't know. I'm seeing slimmer plays than him. And so I don't know. It's one I've been debating back and forth about all week. That's why I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. Let's see. Is it crazy to go Tyrod stacks in 20 max large field GPP only with Tyrod? No, I don't think it's. If you're going to put your sword on Tyrod, by all means. I don't think he's a bad play. I mean, he's less than 1% owned. You're going to have significant leverage on the entire field if you do that. And you can, he's very easy to stack because he has one dude that he's going to go to a lot, and it's Garrett Wilson. And you can run it back with Bucky Irving if you would like, or you don't have to have a run back at all in this one. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it with Tyrod. Do you guys have any differing opinions on Tyrod that way, or would you think that a run back is viable in this one or not needed?
I don't think a run back is needed per se. But I'm a big fan of Tyrod this week. Like, I have been all week in believing that Fields was going to be out anyways. I do kind of wish that Tampa Bay's old line was healthier to where we could believe that Tampa Bay was going to put up a bunch of points. Because two of the games, obviously last week for Tyrod and then last year when he came in, were two games they were getting blown out, and that shows what kind of upside he has, in playing catch up. And, both of those games kind of put me on Tyrod because of what he's able to do in catch up formats.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. There's one in here. Shoot, I think I missed it. Fling, do you like Dobbins at 1.33% ownership today?
Yeah, I haven't, even as a Broncos fan, I haven't been on Dobbins, but hey, revenge game narrative. I mean, whatever, why not? I mean, he has looked good, and we know Dobbins is a really good back when he's healthy. The question has just been, how healthy can he stay? So, but yeah, if you're looking to pivot off of some of that shock, sure, why not get some Dobbins exposure?
All right. Will Hurts throw his first passing touchdown today? I think so. I think it happens today.
Yeah.
Tongues or Farrell for last man in for San Francisco? I'm sure this is tight end. So I'm not playing. I probably won't get to any of these guys, but
I have Tongues in one of my single entries.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Tongues for me. He just Farrell caught the touchdown, but Tongues I think he out targeted him 2-1 or something. So for me, it's him.
Okay. What's your guys' ownership that you're running today? The overall ownership for lineups?
I'm running it at 120.
Yeah.
Mainly because I want to have enough exposure to Walker and Mason. That jacks up the percentage so much. So I don't want it to get too wild, I guess.
I had the same thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am running my normal 100. Pearsall, a good play now. Absolutely. Pearsall now is in play. But the benefactor to this one, and you guys may have differing opinions, but I'll get your opinion on this before we start to move towards exiting, is I think CMC becomes more of a better play in this game than anyone else. I think Pearsall is a benefactor to this. And I think we were talking about earlier too, Raz, you have somebody else that you think is going to actually benefit as well because Jennings is out. But but I think those two guys are benefactors, and I also think the other person that Raz is going to mention.
Yeah, it's going to be Kendrick Bourne. Like, there was a lot of talk of him going into last week about his history with Mac Jones. And we saw him come in and play 60% of the snaps right away. So he immediately jumped at MVS as the wide receiver 3. Now he's going to play 90% of snaps, or 95. And he was targeted plenty on those 60% last week. So to me, I think he's the player that I want the most, because we're already playing CMC no matter what, right? So for me, it's Bourne's going to get the biggest jump, and Pearsall becomes a stronger play too. But
yeah, I agree 100%. Get to the last of these questions here. Do you like Flacco at all? Absolutely not. Not even made mention of my even close to being in my lineups today. But if you like him, play him. Thoughts on Bucky Irvin? I think we touched on this. Let's see. Tet or Rome? Man, that's a tough one, but I think I could see pass for Tet being a better play in this one. I think everybody's starting to go over to Rome more and more, and that's usually when a wide receiver just doesn't produce to his field ownership percentages, and Tet's field ownership is going down.
I think in this one, it's like if the rest of your build doesn't focus on the Dallas-Chicago game, I think you just go with Tet and not play Rome, because he's going to be so concentrated, especially in that atmosphere, that environment, that like I just don't see him being viable as just a one-off. Like he's the only one in that high-owned game that goes off. Like it just doesn't feel like that. So for me, it'd be Tet, but it's not like Tet is super low-owned either, or at least I'm getting a bunch of them without boosting him. But yeah, just one-off wise, like Tet makes more sense.
He's half the ownership of Roma Dunze right now. All right, let's see if we have one more question here that we can hit up. Question. I was thinking about stacking Steelers, Pat, Vikings for large field. Do you use GPP or a core? I'm new to DFS on DK. I am not going to be on this Steelers Pats game at all, outside of potentially the defense. The Vikings are probably going to be better for stacking purposes for large field. You're getting the quarterback at lower ownership than for the same salary price point as Mariota. So Carson Wentz is going to be 4% or less ownership than Mariota. And then you got Justin Jefferson, who's coming in right around 10, 11%. But the running back in that game could actually be the highlight reel. But we've seen Justin Jefferson go off. So you guys have a differing opinion here. I just think the Vikings have a better path.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't love it. The Vikings would be it. I would be using GPP, because you're just core plays. Like, I can't speak for all the coaches, but like my core plays are just going to be centered around game environments that I really like, that I'm going to go heaviest on, which means I'm probably using the quarterbacks from those games, in my builds. So really you use GPP, and if you're going to focus on Vikings, then you're going to play Wentz with Jefferson, or include Mason or whatever. That's going to change who you're going to build around. So if one of the coaches has cores listed, and they even put in their notes, he's, a core play, I'm using him as a one-off, then that's a guy you're going to put in with your game stack or whatever. But, if they're building their cores around one particular game, i.e. Chicago, Dallas, you're not going to want to use those cores in your game stack of, Pitt, New England, or Minnesota, Cincy.
Yeah. Well, everyone, we really appreciate you being on here. The pre-lock show. For Fling, Tattoo, Raz, and I, we hope to see you guys at the top of the leaderboards. As always, helmets up, and we will see you guys later. Thank you. Bye.
Take care, everyone.